I mean, to be honest, MGFFM sometimes is lacking a little bit, sometimes it does work, but it's definitely a huge step up from the MGFF. Hey guys, it's James and welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Generals, but it's warthunder. And finally, we are moving out of the line of ground vehicles that you can get in Heroes and Generals, and now we have moved on to the aviation line. And of course, just like the one in the American playlist, I'll be skipping the very first aircraft that you unlock in Heroes and Generals, which is the recon aircraft, like whatever the hell this thing is. I really still don't get the whole reconnaissance aircraft, man, if I'll be honest. There's biplanes, there's one of those training aircraft, mono-wing aircraft or whatever that you can use. But no, you went for this reconnaissance aircraft that is not even meant for frontline combat. And you don't even have the capabilities for ground striking either. Like, why? But anyway, unfortunately in War Thunder, the next aircraft that you unlock in the German line is the 109D1. And unfortunately, that's not an aircraft that's available in War Thunder. I mean, considering what they have in the nose, I shouldn't be surprised. Anyway, looking at the other statistics, it's using the 20mm MGFF, and it only has 60 rounds in that 20mm. So that means, in War Thunder, thankfully though, we do have a close second. Although it's actually kind of questionable now that I think about it, but whatever. And our close second is this vehicle, is this plane, the 109F1. And it's more or less about the same thing, especially when it comes to flying mechanics, which I will split in a second, as well as the armaments. So yeah, it may not be a fair comparison, but if you sit through me breaking down this vehicle, then you'll probably see why I still think this is the close second that we have. Now first things first is the flight characteristics. You can go up to 614 kilometers an hour and beyond that, just so you guys know, but in ground RB, you're probably not gonna reach this speed anytime soon. Maybe at most at like 500 or something, but even so, that's actually pretty fast. And the best part is that when you're actually maneuvering, you don't bleed out your speed nearly as much, which is the magic of the F variant of the 109s. And the next magical part is the turn time. Still something I would not compete with against a Spitfire or A6M, but 18 seconds, 109, I can tell you there's a lot of players who will not see this coming at all. And of course the climb rate, and I still don't know how to relay this to you or explain this to you, so I'm just gonna speak from my personal experience. It climbs pretty well, builds up speed pretty well. You climb at 10 to 15 degrees, you can go up to 300 kilometers an hour and above very easily. Climbs well, turns well, speeds well, everything you want is in a 109 right here. Just be careful that if you're coming across another turn fighter like a Spitfire or a A6M, you're not winning the fight. And how is this comparable with the one in Heroes and Generals? Well, just so you guys know, in Heroes and Generals the flight mechanics is actually very arcadey, meaning that there isn't really so much of a flap control and you can actually turn on a dime, no matter what aircraft it is. The only thing that's keeping the aircraft from achieving beast mode in Heroes and Generals is the fact that the flight controls have difference. Like, the mouse control is actually a little bit stiffer. Meanwhile, the classic controls for Heroes and Generals, if you know what I mean. If you use the classic controls, yeah, you can definitely turn better than everybody you look at, even in something like the 109D. And then moving on the armaments of this thing, just like the 109D1, you have two 792 machine guns, MG17s up here. The fires around 1200 rounds a minute, and you have 500 rounds per gun. And it's very solid in peppering the enemy aircraft and possibly take out like the crewman or whatever, but unfortunately though, at battle rating 2.7, these rounds are very likely just gonna bounce off, and you'll probably fire like 250 of these rounds or 400 of these rounds just to down one plane, unless of course you get lucky and nail the pilot. But the juicy part of the armaments is not the machine guns, it's the 20mm. 20mm MGFFM cannon, and this is the upgraded version of the 20mm MGFF, and it's actually way better. Like, I remember playing the 109 E3 that has two of those MGFF 20mm autocannon, and oh my god, they were awful. I mean, to be honest, MGFFM sometimes is lacking a little bit, sometimes it does work, but still though, it's definitely a huge step up from the MGFF. But end of the day, this is no MG151. But the good news with the 20mm is that you have a very nice set of ammunition right here. Fragmentation incendiary tracer followed by high explosive incendiary, and then another fragmentation incendiary tracer, and then high explosive incendiary, and then finally armor piercing high explosive shells. So that means yeah, you have a lot of explosive shells going out just in a very small burst. And those high explosive rounds are very important for a small burst because just like the 109D1, you only have 60 rounds in the 20mm here. So this is something you need to be very careful of. Now granted, it only fires up to 520 rounds a minute, but even so, it's like using the 20mm magazine in an instant. It's going to burn out very quickly. And so of course, 20mm with only 60 rounds, I mean, there's all these like universal rounds, tracer rounds, and the deform belt. If you're thinking about using this on ground targets, I really do not recommend it at all. The highest pen round is the APHE shell that pens up to 19mm of armor, but when you're flying down on the enemy, that's really not going to do anything. To the point where you're just shooting open top vehicles, at which I would just say, just use this belt, or at the very most, just use the machine guns. Now, another thing to keep in mind about the 20mm, if you come across something chunky, like some of the early P-51 fighters, the Yak fighters, sometimes even bombers, attackers, or heavy fighters, yeah, sometimes this 20mm does feel it's a little bit lacking. So if you come across those aircraft, your best bet is to try and hit their engines. And of course, just like the 109D1, we have the option to carry a single 250kg shell, which is very devastating, 2.7 and above, all the way until 4.0 or whatever. But hey, if you're playing this plane on your own, there's nothing wrong with opting for the 50kg shells, or the 250 incendiary bomb. Just be careful that these 50kg shells, you have to be very accurate with them. And so there you have it. This is the 109F1, which is the alternative to the 109D1 that Heroes and Generals have. And how does this thing compare with the one in Heroes and Generals? I did mention that the flight mechanics in Heroes and Generals is very arcadey, to the point where the D1 may as well perform the same as the 109F1. But even so though, like, I seriously can't with the freaking single 20mm in Heroes and Generals, man. Like, I remember playing the 109D1 in Heroes and Generals and oh my god, the 20mm is just so awful. I guess it's not really a big deal for the 109E4 because he has two of them, but still though. I'll probably just give this one to War Thunder anyway, mainly because of the firepower, but it's still not a very fair comparison regardless. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about the 109F1. Now let's take this thing out of the battle, and hopefully these 60 rounds can carry me to victory.
Attention to the designated grid zone!
Oh my goodness.
Attention to the map!
Really? Oh, hit the fucking rock.
Attention to the designated grid square!
Where's the other guy? Woohoo! Bunch of boys. Yeah. No one is the other advantage.
Attention to the designated grid square.
Nice of the game to credit me for the despite the fact that I just blew off one of his wheels and that's about it. There's too much smoke. There you go. Is that the KV? Keep trying, bro. Oh dear.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Attack the waypoint! Attack the C point!
Right on top of the thing. But yeah, it's not enough.
Attack the B point. Attack the C point. Defend the C point.
Was that the plane I saw just now? Maybe it is. Who knows? Oh yes, I'm pretty sure you saw me.
Defend the A point.
This is a very solid aircraft. Could do with a little bit more ammo in the 20mm though. Hey, hey, hey.
Defend the sea point.
That is just nasty.
Defend the B point. Well done.
Enemy forces have captured that zone. A little more effort, and victory will be ours.
Oh. I am so sorry, buddy. I really do not like getting pilot's knives.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
Oh. Oh well, it's fine.
Attention to the map!
Definitely not somebody I want to see in the Water 2 fight.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
The fuck? I think I pressed the wrong button. I was trying to land. Trying to deploy landing flaps.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
I may have to dish my bombs. There's 2-3 planes on, and one of them is a typhoon.
The enemy is winning. We must counterattack.
This one. Eee.
Attention to the designated grid square.
Is that an 95? Yeah, it was. Okay, no wonder you're standing so well. Oof. That was close.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win. Attack the C point.
I know I'm not supposed to use my 20 mils, but not when it's a freaking SPA.
Enemy forces have captured a zone. Attack the C point.
Come on. Oof. And I'm out of autocannon rounds. I swear, it's really the game. My computer's not even getting overloaded.